Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got a few things to get into. We got to get into. It's not going to be a super long show. I know. It's famous last words, but honestly, there's not a whole lot that's been going on revolving around this case. There's been a lot of people going back and forth. There's been information again that's getting misconstrued, and it's getting very frustrating and confusing, to be completely honest. And then something just showed up. Just recently got dropped on the internet, and a lot of people are reacting to it, and we are going to look at that as well. Apparently, there's some new footage from a neighbor's Ring camera from like literally next door, if I have this correct. So we got that footage we're going to be looking at here right at the top of this show. So please do me a favor. Like I said, not a long show, so get on in here, get your butts in here so we can do some recap of everything that has happened so far today, which is minimal, to be completely honest. So do me a favor as you get in, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what it do, hit that reaction button, please and thank you. If you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow, please. Of course, hit that subscribe button here on my YouTube channel. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Hit that subscribe button right here on my YouTube channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that notification bell on both platforms. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it is random whenever something's popping off, okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, which is right there on the ticker going across. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, let us get into this conversation. All right, like I said, not a super long show unless something pops off while I'm live with y'all, which I highly doubt, because I'm going to be real. This case is not, well, I'm about to say something, but it's always been this. This case is all over the place, okay? No, and I'm not trying to rhyme, okay? This case has been all over the place. It's been all up in our face, and this case is just an absolute mess and all over the place. All right, now we got people out, okay? We got people out in Mexico. Real talk. People have now crossed the border to see what the hell is going on, just to see if they are searching over there or not. Here's the other piece of information that's very interesting, because, I saw a video earlier today, or, a little while ago, and they basically said that FBI is out there trying to have conversations with, Mexican officials. And now we're hearing that might not be entirely true. So there's a lot of miscommunication and misinformation that's just flying left and right with this case. And we are in day 19, guys. Day 19, 19, not 9, not 1, 19. 19 days into this mug. We're done. We're done with this 19th day. We're about to hit 20 days now. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm at that point right now where I'm like, what? I mean, at some point, you know what I mean? We've been covering it ad nauseum. And I don't mean that to be in a bad way. I'm just saying we have been covering it ad nauseum since the day she was reported missing. And of course, everybody's very concerned. Everybody wants to know where the heck is Nancy Guthrie. But at the same time, I'm like, I mean, if there's no developments, what else can you talk about except go over the same stuff that they've given us and also have retracted from us but then also given to us, but then also retracted from us, but also given to us, but then also retracted from us. So again, we're kind of at zero all over again, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And yeah, we got bupkis, guys. We're still at zero. And now we're in Mexico. Yeah. We in Mexico. Cabron. Now we in Mexico. What the hell is going on? Okay. What the hell is going on? Now, here's something else. We're going to get straight to it so that you guys can see it. I might play it again, in a little bit. Okay. But again, we are back at ground zero still. Now, this is something that's circulating all over the internet. Okay. All over the internet, all over X and Twitter. All right. Allegedly, this is footage from a new Ring camera from a neighbor's home from, if I'm correct, last night or really, really early in the morning last night. Okay, around 3:00 in the morning, you got another dude, a person backpacking through the area, walking through this person's property, and there's like reflectives on their shoulders. This is absolutely insane. Real talk, guys. There's the guy right there, so you guys can see for yourself right there. So I'm going to play this footage so you guys can see this for yourselves. But this is absolutely crazy. Wouldn't it be wild if this guy had the balls, okay, to go back to the ground zero where the crime was committed and just walk around the area and just chill. You know what I mean? That'd be very. Catherine just said cheeky. Yes, it would be absolutely cheeky, love. Absolutely mad. Mad, love. Mad if he was walking in, right? So take a look at this. Interesting, don't you think? It's playing it in repeat so you guys can see it for yourselves. It's weird, right? It's very weird. Now, here's the thing. Different kind of clothing, different outfit, okay? But why would anyone backpack anywhere near the ground, like anywhere near the crime scene? Okay, and of course, not everybody is savvy to what happened here. Not everybody knows what's going on. Not everybody knows this case or anything of that sort. But at the same time, it does make you wonder what the F is going on, right? Why would anybody be able to go through, trespass somebody on somebody else's property and do this? Think about that for a second. How would you be able to do that? Wouldn't 50 be all up in this mug, all up in this neighborhood? Not only just protecting Nancy Guthrie's home, trying to, preserve the crime scene. Now they're trying to preserve the crime scene. Okay. Several weeks, several days later. But other than that, aren't they supposed to be, keeping an eye on the neighborhood? Because you never know. These are all people who have some serious money in various areas. So what are the chances? You know what I'm saying? What are the chances? It just doesn't make any bloody sense. Don't worry. We're going to come back to that video again. Actually, you know what? I'm going to play it again for you guys uninterrupted so you guys can see this again one last time. Take a look. And I'm going to play it again so you guys can see it again one more time. Somebody just said something about the interior lights. That's interesting. What's that? Unless that's somebody who's staying there. You know what I mean? Like, that's weird, right? Unless they were trying to get into the car and the car lit up. That's possible. Right? Again, this could be nothing. This could literally be nothing. Okay? This could literally be absolutely nothing, or it could be something serious. But that's very interesting. Hold on. That's very weird. Now he could be trying to get into that car, or he could have just gotten out of the car and is just walking to maybe to the front of the house. So that's something. Hold on, let's take a look at that one more time. Because that is very interesting, though. The lights are still on, right? The lights are still on in the car, but that's very interesting. You know what I mean? Weird, weird. So again, this is something that people are sharing quite a bit right now. Again, it could be nothing. It could be absolutely nothing at all. But we will see what transpires from that. Okay, what transpires from that. Let's continue on though. So again, what do you think? I think that could be somebody getting home late one day or something of that sort. Hey, tranquilo. So anyway, here's the thing. Let's take a look at this here too. Let's take a look at this. All right. Let's look at this video.
Origins, not ties to cross-border criminal.
What happened? Online conspiracy theories about what happened to Nancy Guthrie are running rampant. One popular theory, the 84-year-old was kidnapped by a Mexican cartel for ransom and then brought south of the border. And organized crime is big business in Mexico. Cartels are actually Mexico's fifth largest employer with an estimated 1.7 million active members. News Nation's Allie Bradley is live from Del Rio, Texas. Now, Allie, at this point, Nancy's abduction does not have any of the signature signs that a cartel is related, yet we know the FBI is speaking to Mexican authorities.
Yeah, you're exactly right here. We've heard from the Pima County Sheriff, Nicole, who says that the facts simply don't support the theory that Nancy Guthrie could have been abducted by the cartel. Evidence at her Tucson home does point to a violent crime scene, but one that some investigators believe has local origins, not ties to cross-border criminal networks. But the distinction matters because cartel-linked kidnappings have historically followed a different pattern. Across northern Mexico, criminal groups routinely target migrants, often pulling buses over, separating passengers, and demanding ransom. In one high-profile case, dozens of migrants were forced off a commercial bus by armed men, later released only after families were contacted for payment. A former U.S. Marshal who worked along the southern border says it's important, though, not to dismiss the cartel involvement altogether. Take a listen.
I don't think the person in the video is going to be a mid or upper level cartel member himself. I think if this does involve Mexican cartel, I think this was done with the blessing of the Mexican cartel. Then they probably reached out to somebody to do this kidnapping. And again, I think we need to consider the possible involvement of the street gang there in the Tucson area also being involved.
So obviously, cartel-linked kidnappings remain a problem at the southern border as people continue to make that treacherous journey north. We know stash houses, things like that, are still being targeted. But the reality is investigators aren't really honing in on the cartel when it comes to Nancy Guthrie. Obviously, we know that investigators are not ruling it out altogether, though. Looking into Mexico, talking with Mexico, Nicole, obviously something that they're looking at there as a tie or connection, possibly. And it's important to note that Tucson is historically a thoroughfare for fentanyl smuggling and human smuggling as well, not far from the southern border. So not only are the cartel operating in Tucson, but they're also operating at the border. So there is that nexus and that activity there that they're looking at as well, Nicole.
Oh, Allie, since you do cover the border, what more can you tell us about cartel kidnappings, which are known to be violent and coordinated?
Yeah, a lot of times these survivors, they talk about ambushed and really coordinated attacks, and obviously ransom, always part of these cartel kind of linked kidnappings. So let's break down kind of how they operate and what they look like here. They typically target border states like Tamaulipas and Nuevo Leon. They don't generally go door to door and target U.S. homes. The victims are usually migrants on buses, freight trains, and stash houses. The objective is extortion and ransom payments from family abroad. Armed men generally force buses to stop. They abduct passengers, they hold them hostage, and they negotiate ransom over several days. Now, as the sheriff is saying, there's no indication of this organized group tactics here and no evidence of this cross-border movement. It is still important to continue to watch that area and to look at that area. Again, as I mentioned, the cartel is operating in all 50 states. They are operating in the interior too. It's not just at the southern border. So something that investigators are certainly going to have to take into consideration here as they continue their search for Nancy Guthrie here. Nicole.
I'm going to tell you this, and this might sound like this might sound heartless. I'm not trying to be heartless, but I don't think that she is in Mexico. I don't think that she's in Mexico, and I don't know if, at this point you could basically say this is day 20, okay? I don't know if we're going to find Nancy Guthrie anytime soon. I hate to say it like that, but I'm at that point now where I'm like, listen, we could sit here all day long saying, and don't get me wrong, we will continue to say, where's Nancy, right? We'll keep on saying that till we're blue in the face. But if we keep going, if law enforcement keeps going at the rate that it is going right now, shoot, it's a wrap. I consider whoever did this a criminal genius, okay? I don't know how this person is that amazing, but consider this person a mother-loving genius, okay? Because I don't see, it's like we're trying to find Jimmy Hoffa's body. You know what I'm saying? This is insane. But this is also the same thing that we saw with Sebastian Rogers too, right? We sat there going, where's Sebastian? Where's Sebastian? Where's Sebastian? Where is he? 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 With nothing. The only difference is that law enforcement didn't really give us anything at all. They would do a few press conferences here and there, but that was it, and they didn't retract information. This one, though, they give us information, then they retract all the information afterwards, after the fact. So it's absolutely insane. Like this right here. Okay? Because again, FBI is saying that they have reached out and have had conversations with the likes of officials out in Mexico. Well, guess what? Sounds like they haven't, according to officials over in Mexico. Take a look at this crap.
Sources telling News Nation that the FBI contacted Mexican authorities in connection to the...
Hold on. Repeat that one more again, girl.
Sources telling News Nation that the FBI contacted Mexican authorities in connection to the Nancy Guthrie case. It comes as the reward for any information leading to the arrest has spiked yet again. An additional $100,000 donated by an anonymous source yesterday. News Nation's Jessica Cartelia is live for us once again there in Tucson. So, Jessica, authorities now looking at the possibility that Guthrie could have been taken across the border into Mexico, even though the sheriff, it seems to be, is saying otherwise.
Yeah, there's some conflicting words here, as per usual, it seems, in this investigation, Nicole. There seems to be some leads telling us that they may be investigating down across the border, south of the border. A source close to the investigation tells News Nation the FBI has contacted Mexican authorities in connection with this case. However, the Attorney General of the state of Sonora just released a statement saying that they have not to date received any formal request for collaboration, assistance, or exchange of information. However, this...
What? Say what? To this date, this institution has not received any formal request for collaboration, assistance, or exchange of information from U.S. authorities or Mexican federal agencies in relation to said case. What? What? Okay. So sources are saying that FBI is reaching out to people of organizations, officials, etc. out there in Mexico, and Mexico coming back being like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Say what? Well, if they sent something, we ain't got it. Did they send it snail mail? because we ain't got it. You know how it is. Snail mail takes a couple days before we actually get something in the mail. So if they did snail mail, that's possible. But if they sent an email or phone call or text message, nah, bruh. Nah, we didn't even get smoke signals. Nah, not even smoke signals. Not even a hawk with a scroll tied to its talon. Nope, we haven't gotten nothing. So, yeah. Huh? Say that again? Because we ain't got it. Whatever you said, you sent. We ain't got it. Crazy. It's like, we sent that check. The check is in the mail. Well, it's been a week. If you sent it a week ago, that check would have already been in my mailbox. So I don't know what you're talking about, checking the mail. Because we ain't got it. You better send that. We got Venmo. We got CashApp. We for damn sure got PayPal. So what's up? It's a lot faster. If you got the green, go ahead and send it, baby. So again, they're going, yeah, we're having conversations with them to collaborate, to find Nancy. And then now they're going, no, cabron. No glow. No glow, cabron. No glow. No information. No cabron. No. What? What is going on here? What the hell is going on here? Another problem with this case. Again, like how many? Let me list the reasons why this case has gone completely belly up. Let me list the reasons. Let me count the ways how much of a kerfuffle this case has become. Right? Or am I the only one that feels that? Like I said, no smoke signals, no emails, no snail mail. Okay? No falcon with the scroll tied to its talon. Nothing. Okay? Zero. They're saying, I don't know what you're talking about. No glow. No, cabron. No, cabron. No. You know what I mean? Ain't that crazy? Okay, we're moving on. But this is a cluster, you know?
This tells us that investigators are casting a wider net and are following leads that take them across the border at some point. You can see on this map, the Guthrie's home here in the Catalina foothills of Tucson is just about 75 miles. That's about an hour and a half drive to the border crossing at Nogales. Arizona sees an average of 8,000 people coming here into the U.S. at that border crossing every day. Strict checks, or I should say, let me specify all border crossings into Arizona. Strict checks are typically done coming into our country, but it's very easy to travel south into Mexico without needing to be stopped. I want to take a look at a...
Is that true? So it's really easy to travel south of the border. And no, we're not going for Taco Bell. We're not heading for the border, okay? Getting our fourth meal, okay? But you mean to tell me, so it's easy for them to go into Mexico, but it's hard for you to go out of Mexico. That doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't you make sure that all that is like just pretty tight? You know what I mean? Stitched up really, really nice and tight. That doesn't make sense. Now I get it, you know, God forbid we have, I understand. I get it. That's why we got ICE out here in these streets, right? But and so I get it. Them coming into America, it's going to be very, very, tough. But coming out of America, they're just like, go ahead, bye, hi, bye. Oh, you leaving? Bye. Thank you so much for visiting our country. Bye. Don't come back now. You hear? Like, what's going on here? What if you have a lady that's in the car, bleeding, in dire straits, looking like disheveled, right? With some very unwelcoming men, possibly, or a group of people with them leaving the country. Wouldn't that spark a red flag, maybe? You know what I mean? Wouldn't that make you go, let's check that car? That's crazy, right? Security is butthole tight coming into America, but getting out of America, they're just like, bye. Shoot, is that a trunk full of yayo? Hey, go on. As long as it's not in this country, bye-bye. Have a great time. They're about to turn the Mexico like the 80s were in America. Woo! It's gonna be snowing down south. Have fun, guys. Bye. You know what I mean? Or you got a bunch of kids that go ahead, bye. No, I don't. Doesn't matter if they're just completely different races from the person who's actually driving the car. Totally fine. You know, I love to see the physical embodiment of a Neapolitan ice cream. Yes, bye-bye. See ya. Have fun, kids. Have fun. There isn't Disneyland down there, but it's a whole lot of Mexico. Bye. Like, come on now. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Okay? And when I was talking about snow, I was talking about that yayo, you know what I'm saying? That booger sugar, that white girl. That's what I was talking about when I was talking about snow. Okay, it's snowing in Mexico. Okay, they're just taking the stuff back to Mexico. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, moving on. But you get what I'm saying, okay? It just doesn't. Come on, make this make sense, y'all. Make this make sense.
Another map now. This map of the border wall, you can see there's about a 100-mile stretch without a wall there. So that means that someone who really knows this terrain can cross from Arizona into Mexico without having to go through an official point of entry. It is now 19 days since Guthrie vanished without a trace, and this footage that you see on your screen has been their strongest lead. There are more than 400 members of law enforcement and 11 different agencies working on this case, and now the coordination appears to include Mexican law enforcement partners as well. I should also mention the reward is now $200,000 thanks to an anonymous $100,000 donation in addition to the $100,000 that the FBI is offering. Also of note, Nicole, we know that Nancy Guthrie requires daily medication. We also know that if you cross the border in Nogales, there are several pharmacies where you can purchase prescription drugs without having a prescription.
That's why a lot of people go to Mexico to get some things and then try to bring it into America. You know what I mean? Because it's cheaper. You don't need prescriptions to get the stuff down there and all that, right? Plenty of people cross the border specifically to get the hookup. That's very, very true. But at the same time, I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. The lack of communication is the biggest problem that they have. And experience. Yeah, experience. I'm not talking about FBI. I'm talking about local PD. It's lack of experience, right? And then the lack of communication is the massive problem. But now FBI is saying one thing. They're the FBI. You understand? They're the FBI. By the way, wait a second. Enrico, Suave. Can I ask you something? Do you go to Mexico for BBLs? For real word? Ladies, I'm going to tell you, don't do that. No, don't go to Mexico for BBLs. Are ladies really going? Are ladies really going to Mexico for BBLs? Word? For real? Stop it already. That is a unkempt booty. Okay, I'm sorry. God knows what's in the booty. What they stuffed in that booty then. Okay? Because that is nasty. Okay? Listen, Mexico's beautiful, okay? Suavemente, like I love it, okay? Beautiful, right? But for real? BBLs? Okay, that's news to me. I thought they would fly over to, like, I don't know, Puerto Rico or something like that, or the Dominican or something like that. I thought that was the place that they go and they get their booty stuffed. You know what I'm saying? So that's news to me. But that is disturbing to say the least. Okay.
So we checked just to see, we know she has a heart rate monitor, if she needed a heart medication, if they had it down there, and they do, in fact, carry those meds. The Pima County Sheriff, as we know, and the Guthrie family have all said that they believe Nancy Guthrie is still alive.
Okay, so here's the thing. They still, of course, believe that she's still alive, which, of course, we could Fingers crossed she is, but are they going to find her? I don't know, baby. I really don't know. Here's the thing I'm going to say. If they have that medication down there, this is when they should go through her medication, her heart medication, this very specific medication that she would need so that she can survive. If she is in Mexico, which I don't think that there is a possibility, but you never know. She could be anywhere. She could be in the North Pole, building toys with the elves for Santa Claus for Christmas. We don't know where she is at this point. That's how crazy how far off this case has spun off this planet. Okay, she could be anywhere. She could be chilling with Elvis Presley in Puerto Rico drinking pina coladas. We don't know where she is. Okay, she could very well be down in Mexico. Now, if it has to do with, hey, you're able to go down and get the medication, the very specific medication that she does take, then maybe they can go and do process of elimination and just see what is being bought in Mexico. Maybe there's somebody that's going to a local pharmacy and picking up those things. Now, I know that there's a lot of people with heart issues out there. There's a lot of medication that's being bought for heart issues in Mexico as well. That would be some serious deep diving, but maybe that's something that they need to do, right? Maybe that's what they need to do. I don't know. I just don't think that this is a situation where this lady just decided, ooh, I feel like leaving. I feel like kicking rocks. I need to leave. I'm tired of this life. No, I don't see that happening with her, So again, this is very, 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 very strange. Now, Brian Entin also went down south, okay? He went way down south, south of the border. We're going to take a look at what he covered here in a second. So 6 hours ago, he said, just crossed into Mexico to see if people have heard of the Nancy Guthrie case. I have something to say about that. I most definitely have something to say about that. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then, of course, Brian Entin about an hour ago said this is the latest update from Pima County, the Pima County Sheriff. We all know about Thanos Nanos, right? Moving on. He says this remains an active investigation. As long as leads continue to come in, investigators will continue to follow up on them. Blah. Okay. Currently, several hundred personnel are assigned to the case. Congratulations. We already knew about that, though. We've been known about that. We've been known about that. I'll repeat that again. We've been known about that. So, okay. Sure. Cool. Thank you so much, Pima County Sheriff's Office. You're basically saying the same stuff that you've been saying for the past soon to be 20 days. Okay. Let's take a look at this.
First tonight, mixed messages from across the border. Leaders in Mexico's second largest state saying tonight they haven't heard from the FBI, even as News Nation is told the feds have contacted Mexican authorities in the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. It fits seemingly a pattern here, as seemingly every day or close to it, we get a different story from authorities, depending on who you hear from. So our Brian Entin went to see for himself, crossing into Mexico and just returning back. What, if anything, do they know about the case there? Brian is back from Tucson with us live as we kick it off tonight here on The Hill. Brian, so you went south of the border, returned on back. Who'd you speak to? What'd you find?
Yeah, there's been some mixed messaging, Blake, from authorities when it comes to the Mexico connection. Yesterday, we had FBI sources telling us and confirming that the FBI has been having conversations with Mexican authorities. Today, Mexican authorities said, yes, those conversations have happened, but there's no evidence right now that Nancy is in Mexico. But you can't ignore, Blake, how close Mexico is to where Nancy lives. I mean,
I agree with that 100%. You can't ignore how close they are to Mexico. Absolutely. I'm not sitting here saying, me personally, I'm not sitting here saying it's dumb for them to look over at Mexico. What I find insane, though, is that you have FBI, sources at least, let's just say sources from FBI saying, yeah, they're talking to officials out in Mexico and it's going to be a joint effort and everything's going to be hunky-dory, right? Merry Christmas. Christmas came again early this year. It's going to be amazing. Everybody working in harmony, right? America and Mexico working in tandem to try to find this lady, right? But no, now we're hearing from an official from Mexico basically saying we have not heard anything at all. That's where it's dumb. That's the problem. That's the issue, where we're getting misinformation, getting flung back and forth, nothing but BS. And that is really burning my mother-loving cookies. But let me let him cook, okay? Let's hear what Brian, and I appreciate Brian Entin for going down there and doing what he needed to do just to see what was going on and just to see if the people of Mexico actually know something. But I have something to say about that.
Close Mexico is to where Nancy lives. I mean, it takes like an hour to get there, and you can just, I mean, people don't realize this, you can just drive right in. No one even asks you any questions. You can walk right in. It's not like coming into the U.S. where you get stopped. So it would be very, very easy for someone to take Nancy into Mexico and for no one to even notice. Granted, there are a lot of cameras. What was interesting, though, Blake, is almost everyone we talked to had no idea who Nancy Guthrie was, despite us being right on the other side of the border. It's like the biggest story in the world in the United States. But right when you cross the border, most people didn't even know about the Nancy Guthrie story. Listen to what some of the people told us, Blake.
La secuestraron o está perdida en Tucson. No.
This is the picture here.
He said that he's not aware of the case of Nancy.
Has she ever heard of it? No, never heard of it? No.
No.
So you saw there, most of the people we talked to hadn't heard of the case. Some had seen it on social media. But what was interesting is many people kept pointing out the cameras, even though you can drive right into Mexico and the Mexican authorities don't stop you. There are a ton of cameras. So you would imagine if they can get a vehicle description and they believe that that vehicle may have gone into Mexico, they could go back and review the camera footage, and that could prove to be very, very helpful, Blake.
Now, first off, I appreciate Brian Entin for doing what he did here. But let me just keep it completely real with y'all. All right. Do you really think the locals in the area are going to know anything about this or even give a damn about this? I'm just being real. I'm not saying that I'm not sitting here saying that the Mexican people are not caring and loving individuals. I'm not saying that at all, but they're minding their own business. And this is not a huge case or a huge story in their country. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to this, I doubt that they would know. But then here's the other thing, too. How do we know that they're even going to squawk? Think about that, too. You really think that these individuals, as soon as you walk up, have you seen this person? That you're like, oh, yeah, I've seen him right there, blah, blah, blah. Are you sure about that? Think about that for a second. I just feel like there's different rules down there. You see what I'm saying? I feel like there's different rules in Mexico. Completely different rules than there is here in America. You know? So no Nancy, no Nancy Guthrie. No Nancy Guthrie, I don't know. No glow. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I just don't think that there's going to be somebody going, oh, yeah. You know? They're going to pretty much keep their mouths shut, I think. You know? I just doubt that they're going to be going out there and going, yeah, you know, she's right there. I saw her right there just the other day. No, they're not. I just don't think that. I just don't think that they would do that. But I could be wrong. You know, I just don't think that going up with a camera all up in their face that they're going to snitch. You see what I'm saying? That's just me. That's just me. You never know. Brian could have interviewed the person who actually has her. You never know. You know what I mean? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. But again, is she in Mexico? Is she really in Mexico? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so, but anything's possible.
Brian, I'm in our here at News Nation because a new update quite literally was just dropped into it. And this comes from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. If you want to follow with me here, they say it remains an active investigation as long as leads continue to come in. Investigators will continue to follow up on them. Currently, several hundred personnel are assigned to this case from various law enforcement agencies and are actively reviewing thousands of leads. They say lab analysis continues on biological evidence found at the residence. To be clear, this is not new or different evidence from what was already recovered from the property. No further information at this time. That just
You know what? You want to know something? He says that they got several hundred officers involved in the situation in multiple agencies, right? They're all working together to try to figure out where Nancy is. Have you ever seen? I don't know. I had a joke, but it's gone now. Now it's gone. But I was going to say, have you ever wondered what it looks like? What it looks like for several hundred people to be scratching their heads at the same time? Just look at the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I know I didn't stick the landing very well, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe the takeoff wasn't great, but the landing I stuck. That's what I meant, right? Have you ever wondered what it looks like to have several men and women standing in one area, just scratching their heads with a look of confusion on their faces? Just look over at the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Your answer is right there. Because that's what we're seeing right now. All of them standing there just going, ay, ay, ay. Yeesh. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You know what I mean? What are we going to do? We don't know. We don't have anything. They're all sitting there just confused. And we are too. But here's the thing. They could release some of that confusion, okay, for the general public if they had a press conference, baby. Yeah. I'm going to keep saying that until they actually do have a press conference. And I'm going to say this too, until they actually do have a press conference. They need to have a press conference and give us, the general public, what they already know. And if they actually have other physical evidence, maybe photographs, a video clip, anything like that, they need to put that out there. There are neighbors that are sitting there going, I'm not sleeping because I'm terrified about what could happen to my home. What could happen in my home? This guy was successful with what he did. He took somebody in the middle of the night. He could walk right over to my house and take me too, take my wife, take my family, whatever. This is the problem. They talk about vehicles of interest, etc. Why aren't they putting that out there? They've given us a masked individual, gloved and covered head to toe. We don't know who he is. All we know is that he has facial hair and he's a man. That's all we know. We don't know what race he is. We don't know anything of that sort. Something that would be nice is if they were to put out some more information out here and set the record straight on all the rumors and all the speculations. But they're not doing that. Have a press conference, man. Do the right thing. You may not want to do it because you're on your fifis, but at the same time, it would help with this case. Because somebody out there knows this person for sure. You know?
coming in, Brian.
Yeah, so sort of more of the same. I mean, there's continue to investigate leads. What they said about the DNA evidence in the house is somewhat interesting to me because that to me is going to be one of the most important factors here. I mean, the glove, it seems like they've basically ruled out, but there is the stranger's DNA inside the house, and that's what we know they have started the genetic genealogy testing on, you know, like kind of like what they did with Koberger. So that could end up really being huge here, but that's going to take time. That kind of testing, it can take weeks. Sometimes it can even take months.
Now, here's the thing. It could take weeks. It could take months for sure. I have hope that that stuff, that they, whatever DNA that they found of this person that was found inside that house, I'm hoping that, yeah, it nips this whole thing in the bud. And then we find this person. Again, This could be somebody who's never been caught, or this is the first time somebody's done, or it's the first time that this person has done this type of crime, right? They did the damn thing, y'all. I hate to say it. I hate to say that, but it was a successful abduction. And of course, if that really is what the plan was, for it to be an abduction, right? It's just, I know all of us are pretty frustrated about all of this, right? I just wish things would get figured out now.
As investigators await results from cutting-edge genetic genealogy testing on DNA found inside Nancy Guthrie.
I also want to say this too. If things don't pick up, or if things do not have a huge turn very soon, this case could go cold. Just so you know, this case could go cold. And I know for a fact, a lot of people don't want that to happen. And you know what? Forget the content creators. Forget the news. Let's talk about the family. The Guthrie family. They don't want this to go cold. If it goes cold, that means they'll just take their time and eventually it'll get done whenever they feel like it's going to get done. But they don't want that to happen, right? They want they want this case to stay hot and for her to be found. I know that they probably don't want all the attention, all the negative press, but at the same time, it comes with the case. So if it goes cold, people just kind of go, remember that time when we talked about that woman? What was her name? What was it? Nicole, what you see what I'm saying? You don't want that. You don't want that. You know? You want this to stay hot so it can be so she can be found now, right? And of course, if there's no heat on the heat, okay, they are going to sit back and they'll just go, when we get it done, we get it done. And you don't want that either. You see what I'm saying? So God forbid this case goes cold.
Arizona home and gloves discovered nearby. The Pima County Sheriff is raising a new possibility. The suspect caught on doorbell video may not have acted alone. Callahan Walsh joins us in moments with thoughts on that. But first, correspondent Matt Finn live at Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. What's the latest, Matt?
John, the sheriff says biological evidence and DNA was recovered from inside Nancy Guthrie's home behind me. They're going to run that against law enforcement databases, but they say they're also going to try other routes like this forensic genealogy. Fox News spoke with the CEO of Othram, a private forensic genealogy company credited with helping identify Brian Kohberger. Othram says it can ID someone in a matter of days and claims it can learn much more about who a person is versus standard law enforcement offender databases.
We can build profiles in days, and that's what we did in the Rachel Marin case and in the quadruple homicide in Idaho. It takes days, not just to get the profile, but even to get the results from a genetic genealogy database. It's a very fast process.
There's also been reports and theories of a connection to Mexico, but so far nothing has been validated. Sheriff Nano says he's not aware right now of any direct link to Mexico, and Fox is told it's standard for the FBI to be in touch with Mexican counterparts on cases like this right off the bat, especially as it's so close to the border. The Sheriff's Department also says the reward for Nancy Guthrie has increased to more than $200,000 after what it calls an anonymous $100,000 donation that was given in addition to the FBI's $100,000 reward. And on Tuesday, Sheriff Nanos released a statement clearing the Guthrie family. It was not certain if the FBI also cleared the family, but we are told that this remains a state investigation that the FBI is assisting. So if the sheriff cleared the Guthrie family, then that is the word on behalf of the investigation. John.
Frustratingly little movement still in this case. Matt Finn for us in Tucson. Matt, thank you. Jillian?
Let's go ahead and bring in Callahan Walsh. She is co-host of America's Most Wanted on Fox. Callahan, take a look at this headline out of CBS. They reported yesterday that an accomplice is not ruled out in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. This from the Pima County Sheriff. If this is the case, that they are now looking for more than one suspect, does that make their job easier or harder?
It actually will make their job easier. Now you don't have one person trying to cover their tracks. You have two people. And with more people becomes more opportunities for them to slip up and leave behind some sort of evidence that will pinpoint them to the crime. And so the fact that they're looking for more than one individual, for me, I think increases their chances. It's a scary scenario to know that more than one person was involved, that this was a highly orchestrated type of event. My hat's off to law enforcement. I know they're trying to do everything that they can. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Only some of that information comes to us, but that's why the public needs to stay vigilant. If anybody's seen anything, knows somebody who's been missing for the past 3 weeks who fits the description of the perpetrator seen in the video, they should be coming forward.
The sheriff also said they're working now with other technology companies to try and derive more information from whatever the footprint was in the house. What do you read into those comments?
So what I take from them is that they're looking at some genetic markers in that DNA, not necessarily a match. If they can't find a match, they're going to move on to these markers to help try to identify at least a bit of information about their possible ancestry, possible eye color and hair color, things that can be provided to the public to help identify who these individuals are. Again, the public can be law enforcement's most powerful tool, but they're not powerful. They don't have actionable information. Luckily, we see that ring footage, that doorbell footage, but the person is wearing a balaclava covering their face, not very easily to identify them. So with these additional markers and additional information, it may be possible that somebody out there can put that information together and say, hey, I think I know who it is.
Yeah, I mean, with the genealogy, with the IgG, with this footage, maybe they can put 2 and 2 together. I mean, I'm hoping that's the case. That's in hopes somebody used like their 23andMe to find out something. You know what I mean? To find out their lineage or something like that. I mean, but again, it's kind of like a shot in the dark. It worked for Brian Koberger, but it might not work for this guy. You never, ever know. Something that Michael Ruiz said, I just wanted to say this really quick. He put this up about 26 minutes ago. He says, Pima County authorities tell Fox News their tip lines have been flooded in the wake of Nancy Guthrie's suspected abduction. And they're asking callers to, quote unquote, take a moment and weigh whether their tip is viable before picking up the mother-loving phone. Yeah. So now Pima County authorities are basically saying, stop calling. Stop calling. It doesn't matter if you saw like Sasquatch on the corner of 5th and 9th. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Think about it before you make that phone call to let us know about Sasquatch. Because we're not looking for Sasquatch right now. We're looking for Nancy. You know what I mean? They're like, please don't call us about that. The other day I saw an old lady walking down the street with the walker and it looked a lot like Nancy Guthrie. They're like, nope, we don't want anything. Nope. Think about it before you pick up that phone call. Okay, before you make that call, before you pick up that phone, before you even dial, think about it. Okay? In fact, think about it again after you dial and you're about to hit that call button. Okay, that green button real quick. Think about that before you do. Think about it all before you make the phone call and waste our time. Please and thank you. Ain't that crazy? That is nuck and futz. Yeah. You want to know why? Because, oh yeah, the reward money has gone up to $300,000. Yeah. The monies for whoever has any information about the whereabouts or any information about her abduction, the reward is now $300,000, which, by the way, I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised it took this long to get here. I figured $300,000 would have happened like after week 1. Remember for a minute there, her reward was, the reward money was like, I think it was like $25,000 or something. Like, or maybe $2,500 or something crazy like that. Anybody with any information, remember, okay, so just so you know, because some of you, Deborah on Facebook just said, I thought it was 200,000. No. So they have a guy who, okay, so the FBI dropped $100,000. They said, anybody who has any information, at first it was $50,000. Then they the feds raised it to $100,000. Then there was another guy that went out of his way to basically say, hey, I have $100,000. I sent it to the feds to add to the reward money. So that's $200,000. He's been interviewed. We saw it yesterday. He's sitting there going, yeah, I have no problem. You know, we need to find her, right? It just struck a chord in me to send in that $100,000, right? Now there's an anonymous donation of another $100,000 by an anonymous individual. They have not been interviewed. They have not been. That's why it's called anonymous. So now it is $300,000, not $2. Yeah. So as of today, somebody anonymously dropped $100,000 to help in the reward money in hopes that somebody will come forward and be like, I know what's going on. So I can see why there's an uptick of phone calls by everybody now. Just saying. Everybody's trying to roll the dice now. It's $300,000. Crazy. Okay.
You ever covered a case where somebody in their 80s was abducted, or is this completely out of the norm?
It's pretty rare. It is pretty rare. You know, we have, elderly Americans going missing all the time, but typically they've gotten into a vehicle, weren't able to navigate home, or they wandered from the house. That's why we have silver alerts. In Arizona, they're called safe alerts. But it does remind me of a specific case. Cal Ripken Jr.'s mother was abducted from her home, driven around town for 24 hours, and eventually let go. But it's not something that we see on a regular basis at all.
All right. Well, Callahan, one more thing. The sheriff did say, that he does not believe this is a botched burglary or a burglary gone wrong and, it escalated. So that speaks to your point. Callahan, thanks for taking time with us.
Crazy. So just so you guys know, okay. Yeah. There is one guy who donated. Another anonymous individual, okay, has donated, okay, after an anonymous donator contributed to $100,000 to the county tip line, okay. That's one person that's an anonymous donor. Then you also got another person who is he put his face out there. He did interviews. You got that guy too. So it's $300,000. If I got the math right, or unless they're saying that the anonymous donator is the guy who's been all up in these interviews so far, that would be very strange. But again, from my understanding, it's gone up considerably now. And now I'm sure the tip line is ringing off the hook, right? So very interesting stuff. We got to take a look at this too. Because remember, we talked about this yesterday. There's been a lot of backlash on content creators that have been, covering this whole case, right? There's the likes of like Popcorn Planet, Dolly Vision, JLR, and a bunch of other content creators. I mean, there's more content creators that keep showing up too. They're showing up after the fact, right? There's a lot of content creators that are now live streaming out there and showing up and doing their thing, okay? Now, here's the thing. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you like any of those content creators or not, okay? One thing is for sure. They're doing the damn job. They're reporting the information. One thing I think is interesting is, of course, we saw that thing yesterday where Inside Edition was basically trying to rip apart these streamers, when in actuality, I just think that legacy media is feeling some type of way, is jealous of the content or the views that these particular people are getting. And honestly, a lot of times they're getting the news first to everybody before Fox News says anything, CNN, or any of these other outlets say anything. And I'm going to say it like I said it yesterday. Let them do you, boo-boo. Okay? Let them do themselves. Let them cook. I don't see anything wrong with it as long as they're not obstructing any type of investigation, obstructing, any type of crime scenes or anything of that sort. Some have allegedly been trespassing in areas in the very beginning, but then now they've learned not to do that crap anymore. So again, I just think that there's a necessity for those content creators to be out there and covering what they are covering, So shout out to all of them. And I just think it is kind of ridiculous that these content creators are getting thrown under the bus for no reason whatsoever, when in actuality, if you've noticed, a lot of these people that used to be legacy media, now they're on the dark side now, which is of course streaming or, YouTube, the internet. Now they're internet journalists, right? Independent internet journalists. And I think that it's kind of messed up if they're going to talk trash about YouTubers when they happen to have their own YouTube channel as well. And I am talking about Cuomo. Cuomo's got a YouTube channel. He makes money off his YouTube channel. Sorry if media, TV news is a dying breed. Sorry if that platform, the TV, is starting to thin out and more people are choosing independent journalists or independent streamers or whatever as their source for information. Sorry if the times are changing, but I don't think it's right for them to try to just, punch down at these content creators who are just doing the same job as they are. They're on the same sidewalk. They're on the same road. They're in the same area trying to get the same type of information. The only difference between these content creators that are out there and these news sources, these reporters, is that these news reporters have sources. Here's the other thing too. Let me just say this too. They say that these content creators are the ones that are spreading all this misinformation all over the place, when in actuality, we are constantly hearing a source close to the FBI said, hold on, do I still have that up? Case in point.
Sources telling News Nation that the FBI contacted Mexican authorities.
One more time.
Sources telling News Nation that the FBI contacted Mexican authorities in connection to the Nancy Guthrie case.
I rest my case. So again, don't you notice? The information that we've been constantly getting is, oh yeah, polygraph tests are being done. Then we find out from some sources told us that blah, 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 right? That's coming from media. That's coming from legacy media. You just heard that. I'm going to show you the face. I'm going to show you what I just played for you guys. We just played this earlier, and I repeated it earlier because I was trying to foreshadow what I was about to talk about here, right? Take a listen. Again, this is News Nation, and I'm not dogging News Nation. I'm just trying to point out how they will sit there, go off on content creators, but in actuality, the sources, the information that we're receiving and hearing is from reporters and from their sources. Let's not forget the source that said that Tommaso Cioni was going to be was a prime suspect in this case. That came from a source. You see what I'm saying? That didn't come from streamers that were out there on the street. You see what I'm saying?
Sources telling News Nation that the FBI contacted Mexican authorities in connection to the Nancy Guthrie case.
And again, remember, what did they say? No, No conversation over here, cabron. From nobody. No glow. No glow. Remember that? Same video. But then they're going off on streamers that just happen to be on the side of the street, filming and doing the same doggone thing, except some of these guys are shooting on their phones and not with some $30,000 camera. You see what I'm saying? It's just insane to me what's going on, and the fact that there's such gatekeeping going on. Like, you're not allowed to be here. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The times are changing. The times have changed, and local media, or not local, but I'm sorry, legacy media is very worried about losing their base. Have you noticed, by the way, guys, when was the last time you turned on your local news to watch the news? I guarantee you, the only times you turn on your television to watch your own local news is if there is a catastrophic event about to happen, like if it's an earthquake or a tornado or a hurricane, or there's a snow apocalypse coming or something of that sort. Majority of the time, you're not really watching the news anyway. You're not hearing about that. Oh, here's little Fido. He's a loving one in the Pima County area. He walks with the elderly every day. No one watches that. No disrespect. Yes, it's a nice feel-good story, but not everybody's watching the news like that. They're not, I can't wait to watch local news to find out what these anchors are talking about today. No. Oh, another shooting at the 5th and 9th Street happened. You're not listening to that. Majority of the time, you're not. Unless there's some huge scandal or something big going on, or you want to hear what's going on with sports, right? Seahawks win the blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But majority of the time, you're trying to find out about traffic, and you're trying to find out about the weather. And that's it. Is school closed today because of the snow or because of the ice? That's the only time you're really watching. No disrespect. But that's where they get their money. That's where they get the numbers. That's it. Everything else is filler. Unless it's a huge scandal that they're breaking right then and there, and then you're tuning in, right? And I'm not talking about CNN with their shows, or Fox News with their shows. Those are completely different. Those are tailored different. I'm just talking about local news, right? So again, I think it's just really ridiculous when they try to go in and try to make these content creators look like they're evil when, I don't know these people personally, but I don't see any harm in what they're doing, which is covering what's going on. And sometimes breaking the story faster than the news. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I honestly, like I said yesterday, believe there's plenty of room to eat at the table. Why not just make room? In fact, find ways to join forces with these content creators. Stop looking at them like they're pariahs or that like they got leprosy. Just open the door, let them in. It's the ones that are good, the good ones. There's plenty of crappy ones out there, plenty. And I'm not here to name any of them. All I'm saying is there's plenty of crappy ones, but there's plenty of really good ones too that actually give a damn, about the integrity of the case, right? Now, here's the other thing too. I wanted to share this too. Jorge Ventura Media put this up. The story within the story, the media wars in Tucson streamers versus TV network. So he says Arizona lawmakers and now local authorities are calling for streamers in covering the Nancy Guthrie story to leave and accusing them of misinformation. And this is where I push back and say, wait a second, what misinformation is coming from these streamers that were boots on the ground? Most of the information that we've been receiving and been reacting to has been information from legacy media saying a source close to the blah, blah, blah says da, 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 da. You know what I mean? I'm embedded with one of the biggest streamers, DLR, here, who is delivering the news and a real-time and a live real time to That's interesting. To an audience of tens of thousands of viewers. Yeah, I mean, shoot. JLR has been killing it. The power structure in the media landscape is changing in real time. And here in Tucson, the streamers are the ones filling the information void. They are. I agree 100%. Let's take a look at this video.
Hey everyone, I'm on the ground here for the Nancy Guthrie story, but to tell a much different story, the story within the story, the media wars between the legacy corporate TV networks like you see right behind me.
I mean, you see the tents, right? Thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment under those tents, right? And then you got somebody like, JLR who's just using his phone, crappy cell phone reception, and just streaming 10 11 hours a day. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it is new media. It's soon enough these guys will have the rigs and have the money, okay, to buy rigs where they can be out there just like News Nation, just like MS Now, just like CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox News, all of them, right? They will have the ability and the power to do the same doggone thing, right? So again, interesting, right?
Legacy corporate TV networks like you see right behind me. A lot of the reporters are getting ready for the live shot right now against the new independent rise of streamers, particularly in this Nancy Guthrie story.
There's been a rise in independent streamers for the longest time. This is not some new thing. It really isn't. But like I said, as technology gets better, as technology gets better and gets cheaper, there are going to be more and more people running around with bags like this. I'm telling you, getting pristine footage out there, boots on the ground. We're already seeing it everywhere. Trust and believe. It's already been here, okay? The party has already been started, okay? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going out to, here it is. I'm not going out there, right? I'm not going out there. I know somebody said, when are you taking your pack out there, Pascal? Classic. Here's the thing. It's too late in the case. If this was earlier on, I would have gone. Had I known if it was going to be as long as it has taken. But knowing my luck, I buy a ticket, I fly all the way out there, and then everything's shut down and it's all done. You know what I mean? And honestly, I'm going to be real. The guys that are already out there, like the likes of JLR and all them, they've already been doing great coverage on it. For me, I'm like, they've already... They doing it. You know what I mean? Maybe on the next case, the next case, sure. Right? The next case, sure. But this one, I'm like, all right, I'll sit out on this one. Right? But someday soon. Okay. Someday soon. Let's continue.
Becoming the microcosm of how the media landscape is changing. And now the streamers are having such an impact here, pulling tens of thousands of viewers at the same time, that now Arizona lawmakers and local authorities are telling streamers to go home. One of the biggest streamers here covering this story and challenging legacy media is this man right here, JLR Investigates. And right now, man, how many viewers do you have right now?
29,000 watching.
So he has 29,000 people watching, and we're seeing this kind of interesting story unfold with the media, with the streamers against this kind of TV legacy, the old school, and it's kind of coming right here a collide to the point where the streamers are at times pulling even much more viewers than local media. And
he is saying the same thing I said yesterday. The views that we are getting, I'm telling you right now, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm not, obviously I'm not pulling the same amount of viewers like JLR is doing. But, I've had people actually come up to me as well and basically say like, yo, as far as local news goes, you're getting more, you got more people tuning into your stuff than your local news is getting those kind of views. And I'm like, word, I didn't even think about that. But then if you really think about it, you're like, damn, that's very true. And then here's the other thing too. Look at the likes of other content creators that are out here. And I'm not talking about the ones that are boots on the ground, live streaming at the area while it's going on. I mean, you got the likes of, let's say, other streamers like Vosh or Hassan Piker, or and those are just two people, for example. Or shoot, Tim Pool, right? They're streaming. They may not be streaming in the same style that Vosh or Hassan Abi is doing, but they are streaming. They're live streaming their shows and doing their thing. There's multiple ways to do this show or to do the streaming. There's multiple ways to fry this egg. You feel me? So when I see this and people are getting, mainstream media is getting upset with streamers kicking ass. If you really think about it, someone like, okay, for example, Tim Pool, he's pulling crazy numbers. Same amount of numbers that JLR, if not more than what JLR is pulling. Because this is not what JLR usually pulls, right? He'll get, he still gets 3, 4, 5,000, on other cases. But because he's there, he's getting a crazy uptick in people seeing what's going on while he's there. And this is obviously a huge case. But there are other people, like I said, like Hassan, that are live and they're killing it. You see what I'm saying? I mean, they got 30, 40,000 people watching their stuff daily. You see what I'm saying? I'm not jealous of anybody. I ain't jealous at all. I'm just stating facts, baby. But like I said, you see this people who are going daily and they're pulling crazy numbers. And all they're doing is covering the news. They're doing exactly what I'm doing, right? They're looking things up. They're pulling them up. They're putting in their commentary. They're talking about things that are breaking in the world. It's like a new age version of like a radio show. Okay. That's basically it. It's like a new age version of a radio show. All right. So again, amazing what these guys are doing, because they're paving the way for the future of all these other streamers and all these other really great content creators that still haven't had the opportunity to do it. Here's the other thing too, or didn't have the balls or don't have the balls to do it. Here's the other thing too. More and more reporters are starting to leave their jobs and starting to do their own stuff online too, becoming independent journalists. I feel like the only reason why these guys are out here throwing shade is because they're jealous that they're not tethered. They're not tethered to a company, to some higher up who's telling them what they can talk about and what they can't talk about. You can cover this, but can't cover that, right? Somebody's like, I want to do a story about missing Black teen girls in the heart of Chicago, and their team, the higher ups, will be like, well, no, we need it to be a blonde hair, blue-eyed girl. Okay, it can't just be, no, sorry, we need to talk about something else. Can we talk about what's going on in the midterms? Let's talk about that instead. You see what I'm saying? There is no stopping them from covering what they want to cover. And I even said this again. Have you not noticed how Banfield, her show should be called Banfield Unchained? I'm being real. It shouldn't be called Drop Dead Serious. It should be called Banfield Unchained. She is so candid with what she's saying now. And you can tell she's been cut. She's been untethered from the corporate system, that she's being entirely herself, dropping F-bombs and cursing every other word. She's finally being herself, right? And I bet you it's freeing. I know a lot of guys that have been in the media game, anchors and whatnot, that have left the job, left the gig, started their own channel, and are loving every second of it. And some of them making even more money than they ever expected. More money that they were getting from the job that they had just left. So again, guys, I mean, I just think that this is the way it is now. This is just the way it is. And mainstream media got to be cool with it.
I wanted to ask JLR, I wanted to ask you, man, Why are you now being targeted by, we saw Insider Edition put a hit piece on you. Some Arizona lawmakers are calling you misinformation, a conspiracy theorist.
He's not the only one. Okay, there was like 3 other guys, including 4 guys altogether, including JLR, where they were, going in. Okay, it wasn't just JLR, but yeah, it sucks, right? That he's getting hit for no reason.
Your thoughts? Why is this changing the way that viewers want to consume media, particularly with this story?
Because we're out here 24/7. We're out here continuous streaming, letting the public know what's really going on. It's taking ratings away from them. They come out here, the media, they're doing these short 5-10 minute clips, and then they pack up and leave. They're not out here continuously seeing what's going on. This is our command center. So this is a epicenter here, right here in front of Nancy Guthrie's house, and we're giving our viewers the latest.
And once again, man, how many viewers?
Right now it's 28,000. So we're 28,000 consistently. The whole world is watching.
And look at that, just run and gun, one-man show versus the TV network. So just an interesting story unfolding when it comes to the media side. Once again, we're going to be focusing on a different angle here, the media wars, streamers versus the TV networks here in Tucson.
Okay, so you got that guy, looking into that whole situation, and yeah, there has been tension. It's been kind of crazy, and I don't think, from the footage that I've seen from JLR and from other content creators, I think they've all been doing a great job just covering what they want to cover. But honestly, I don't see them stepping over anybody at all. I see them all just trying to get along, but at the same time, legacy media is mad. I guess legacy media is mad about streamers winning, and I think that's hilarious. I truly think that's hilarious. I don't see anything wrong with what JLR or any of these other content creators are doing, as long as they're not trespassing, getting all up in the face of cops, or like I said, compromising the investigation or crime scenes or anything of that sort. They're doing exactly the same thing media is doing. Just because these guys have $30,000 cameras and tents above their heads does not mean that they're not also being obnoxious and and annoying too. There's plenty of journalists out there that are bad at their job too, right? Just like like I said, there's plenty of bad lawyers out there. There's plenty of bad cops, and there's plenty of bad doctors out there. Okay, there's the yin to the yang to all of it, right? But let me get some of these super chats here really quick, and I just say, let these guys make their money. Okay, they got a living, they got mouths to feed, they got things they got to do, they got goals they want to achieve. So let them achieve their damn goals. Okay, they're not doing nothing. And again, I don't think he's one. JLR, I don't think JLR is one that's putting out false information. I really don't. I think there's questions that are being asked. The internet is putting out a lot of stuff. Yes, sometimes, which I'm not a big fan of doing that either, but sometimes you'll get information that's, it's like, oh, this is the guy, right? Who's Carlos? Next thing you know, everyone's like, this is Carlos. And it's like, that's not Carlos at all. You know what I mean? So I get it, that misinformation can come out that way. But honestly, I feel like it's just kind of par for the course, right? But let them do their thing. As long as they're not obstructing anything, let them do their thing. Come on, baby. TT Cross, thank you so much for being a member. Appreciate it. Please hit the like. It's free. Hope everyone is doing well. This case is crazy. Exactly. It is absolutely crazy. Hopefully we get this thing figured out. Okay. Who's your girl? Who is your girl? I'm kidding. But thank you so much for becoming a member. Who's your girl? Welcome to the family. And Reed, thank you so much for gifting 1 membership. Thank you so much for gifting 1 membership. We really do appreciate it. Week, thank you so much for the love. Or Weeks, Teach, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. I wouldn't believe a word Mexico says. My father died in Mexico. I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences. It took months for them to release information, even after the USA involvement. Wow. I mean, that's what I mean by them going up there and being like, have you seen this lady? And they're like, I haven't seen her. And it's like, are you sure you could trust that source? I'm not saying that all Mexicans are evil people. I'm just saying, like, you just never know. The people there might be like, yo, my name is Bennett. I ain't in it. I just want to live my life. I want to make my money. I want to raise my kids. Okay. I don't know any of this. I keep my head down. I don't want any problems. Right. Like I said, I think Mexico operates different than other places. Jennifer, thank you so much for the love. It's wild. It's almost like they're learning how to investigate a crime as they go. By the way, that shirt color is Chef's Kiss. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I think that's kind of what it feels like too. That they're figuring out like, oh snap, we're supposed to put up police tape around the house. Oh my damn! I don't remember that from the academy. Sorry, we'll put it up now. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm not supposed to touch that item, that evidence with my bare hands. Oh, damn. Oh, what do I do? Oh, I use gloves. Word? Who got some gloves? Anybody got gloves? Hey, Ray. Get your ass over here. You got some gloves, man. Can I borrow some gloves? I got to pick this thing up. I just touched it, man. What do I do? What? It contaminated? I contaminated the scene when I'm standing in the middle of the crime scene. I'm standing on top of the DNA that they need for this. Oh my damn. Anybody got anybody got some booties I can put on? Anybody? Like, that's where we're at. They're learning everything as they go. They're learning everything as they go. Ain't that about to shut your mouth? Reed, thank you so much for love. They may be following my tip. Bruh. Well, what's that tip? That's what I'd like to know. Ooh, they might be following your tip. Let's find out. General Genobi, what's up? Please, I beseech of you, good sir. Audition for Netflix Bridgerton and be the next Lord. I'm done. Voices down pat. It's a wrap. Oh, that I appreciate that. Wow, thank you. That's very sweet. I've always wanted to do like voice acting. I think that'd be a lot of fun. If you couldn't tell, dear Lord, this whole show is like 15,000 different personalities. I do not have multiple personality disorder or anything of that sort. Okay, not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying. Okay, appreciate that. Thank you. I've thought about doing voiceover work. I mean, I have done it once. I've done it a couple times, but one main thing a long time ago, many moons ago. But yeah, that'd be kind of fun. Bridgerton, just have my ass out with a British accent. I'm done. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody. Because isn't that show just like British accents and butts the entire time? Isn't that? I've never seen the show. I just assume it is because it's a very female centric show. So I'm assuming it's just male butts. Very good looking people, but a lot of male butts. Have you not noticed that in every female centric show? It's just male butts. Nobody's seen that. Okay. We're going to have another conversation. We'll never talk about that again. Yeah. Let's get into this. Am I the only one who sees that? It's like, why is all this? But where are the boobies at? You got butts out. Hold on, before we go into the super chat, okay? Has anybody seen what? I'm just saying. Every time it's like a female-centric show, you barely see anything you're watching with your girl. She's like, "Oh, yeah, have you ever seen this show?" And then it's just male butts, right? Good-looking people, but just male butts. And you're like, "But where the tatas then? At least female butts. What's going on? Where the female butts?" No female. Okay, no female. Just his butt the entire show. Okay. The entire show. His butt. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. Okay. All right. I've just noticed that. I'm like, what are the tatas? What about something for the fellas, man? For the fellas. Where's that at? Why is it just booty holes? You know what I'm saying? They need to fix that. They need to fix that. Moving on. Into the Woods. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. There's no way they were giving her meds. They could have brought all of them if this was planned. That is true. They took days to reach out, which makes me ask, did they even have proof of life to give? That is a very good question. That is a very, 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 very good question. I don't know, right? If they planned this ahead of time, then maybe they were able to get some medication for her. But then at the same time, it's like, did this person really know about all of her ailments? And here's the other thing too. Would she really know exactly what she takes? Let's imagine she's taken, right? She's taken against her will. She's taken down to Mexico. And she has to remember everything. Dealing with trauma, by the way, this high level, very stressful moment. And they're going, tell us what kind of medication you took or you take for your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to remember all of that when you're dealing with, you know what I mean? Like, I took acetaminophen and you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, I don't know if she would have, like, remember everything, but, you know, as far as her medication, because she could be taking a bunch of medication. You never know. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. But you got a point. I hope she's alive, but there's something about it. I'm getting the vibe that she might not be, but I hate to say it like that. Into the Woods. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate it. 13 Mandy. I just discovered you about 10 days ago, and there's no better person to get no breaking news from than you. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Your sound effects make me laugh. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you so very much. That means the world to me. Real talk. Again, Mandy, again. Oh, Mandy, thank you so much again. Can you please play what I call the no breaking news sound effects? The sound effect, the dun dun dun. So damn funny. Yeah. Or wait, is that the one? That's the one you're talking about, right? The dun dun dun. Yeah. Okay. Mindfulness. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. Kristen, thank you so much. Or Christine, I'm sorry. Thank you. At 28 minutes, 52 seconds in on your video, it looks like he's carrying someone on his back, duct taped to his back. Her head is slumped on right shoulder. Hold on. I'm assuming you're talking about the new footage, the new ring cam footage that just came out. Let me find it again. Let's take a look. Let's see what you're talking about. Let me take this down so you guys can see this. Let's take a look. It's got to be this. I mean, one thing's for sure. If this is the thing that you're talking about, I don't see it. No disrespect. This person's walking way too easily. Okay? Walking way too easily, in my personal opinion. If you have somebody who's 150 pounds strapped to your back, you're walking different. You know? You're walking different. I don't care if you're like the Liver King, you know, just jacked and used to carrying things like that. You're still struggling. That's 150 pounds. Okay. No disrespect to her weight. I'm just saying that's a lot of weight, especially if it is dead weight. And I don't mean that she's dead, but you know what I mean. If she's unconscious or anything of that sort, it's going to be hard to carry her. Let me just be completely real. Annie Jean, thank you so much. It's true, Pascal. The local news is so boring to watch, and they keep us in a little bubble. I bet if I watched local news, I wouldn't know about Nancy. I feel like you would for like 2 seconds. It'd be like a little update here and there. Wouldn't be anything crazy, right? But it would be massive information that they would report if there was massive information. Like, oh, she was found. That would make national news everywhere, right? Every local news station would talk about it. You see what I'm saying? Moving on, Reed, thank you so much for the love. How's the new boots on the ground gear going? Good? Yeah, I mean, it's been good. I just haven't had a huge opportunity to use it a lot lately. It's been busy in this corner of the world. So I'm trying to use it, but there really hasn't been any protests lately. There hasn't really been anything big going on out here in my neck of the woods. So like I said, I'm waiting for the next wave of something, and then it will be used like crazy. But I used it for the band practice thing that I did, right? I used it then. I used it again when I sat down and interviewed Representative Wesley Bell. So I'm still using it. I'm just using it in different aspects, in different formats. Okay. Because that thing is amazing. That freaking rig is amazing. Okay. Click this page. Thank you so much for the love. Google. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of talk. You know, it is what it is. Right. Beautiful messy ball. Thank you so much. Pascal's not jealous. It's industry facts. That's true. Thanks so much for the love. I appreciate it. Ann P, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so very much. Welcome to the family, all of you guys. All you guys. And please do me a favor, okay? Ann gave you some love, and other people were gifting as well. I forgot the names. I'm sorry, but they were giving you some positivity as well. All I ask for you to do is to pay that positivity forward. Open the door for somebody. Be nice to somebody. You know, it's the small things that help make this world continue to go round, okay? And it keeps us making the choice to get out of bed. All right. So make sure you do something positive with that positivity that was just bestowed upon you. Gianna, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Mainstream media has a whole narrative to sell. Streamers are how we know what's actually going on. That's very true. Police have relationships with media. That is also very true. Hard to be authentic that way. That is very, very true. That's why we keep on hearing sources close to the investigation said this and that, and we're hearing all that from legacy media. Not saying anything bad. I think they need each other. You know, it's like peanut butter and jelly. They need each other. And instead of being like, ooh, he fruity. I don't like that jelly. He too fruity. And this guy's like, man, that peanut butter, he nuts. That he just crazy. He just nutty. I can't stand his ass. And it's like, wait a second. Combine the powers, they could do some really dope things. You know? Be the Batman to the Robin to the Batman. There's so many amazing things you could do if they just joined forces and worked together. But unfortunately, they're still too busy trying to be territorial. Okay? Josh, thank you so much for the love. Bruh, this comic relief is much needed. Thanks for what you do. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, those girl shows, nothing but butts. I'm telling you, it's nothing but butts. Just watching, you'll be like, what? Another butt. Okay. Sup with that, man. You know? What about the tatas? You know, something for the fellas to look at. Just nothing but male butts. Okay, that's not what I wanted, but okay. Here it is. Messi, thank you so much for the love. I want to do something. Voices too. My high school advisor told me I should do cartoon voices. I mean, hey, it's never too late. You know, it's never mother loving too late. It's never late. Just do it. You know what I mean? I've been saying it for years. I just need to get on the ball and actually do it, and figure out how to get into it, you know, or get into it again. Maybe one day, you know, when I get more time. How's that? Let's continue. Bloop bleep. Thank you so much for the love. Can you write a song about Nancy Guthrie's case, please? That's not a bad idea. Wow. That's not a bad idea. The only reason why I've been very weary about doing anything like skit-wise or song-wise about this case is because I don't want to come off heartless. You know, this is a very sensitive case. And I'd hate to say something or do something that's, comical. And then people go, how dare you poke fun at this situation? No. You know what I mean? So that's just one thing that's I'm a little concerned over. But an idea, that's not a bad idea. Because I have thought about it, but I'm like, ooh, I don't want to come off like a dick, I still got a heart, I still care. So I don't want to be rude, but I've thought about it. And now that you mention it, not a bad idea. Okay. Welcome to the family, Tamara. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate it. April, thank you so much for love. Can you play sparkle noise for Creep Show? Can you play sparkle noise for Creep Show? They pour. Can you play sparkle noise for Creep Show? Who's sparkle noise for Creep Show? I'm confused, April Love. Is that really a real sparkle noise for Creep Show? Oh, okay, yeah. There you go. Sparkle noise for Creep Show. I'm like, is that a character or something? Like, what is sparkle noise? Okay, thank you. I did it just for you, Creep Show. 2. You're welcome. Mazel tov. General Genobi, thank you so much for the love. Thank you, Lord Pascal. That's our man. Yes, it is. Damn right. Okay. Messi, again, the problem is, thank you so much. The problem is the government controlled the narrative through Project Mockingbird for so long. And now with so many independent streamers, they can't control the narrative. I mean, as far as Project Mockingbird and all that, that's another, that goes into a whole other conversation in itself. But I do believe, yes, I agree that they can't control the narrative when you have streamers out there being like, here's the information, right? Here's the truth about what's going on, right? I think that's a very good point for sure. 1 second. Lexi, thank you so much. Please replay the new footage. Okay. I will play it one more again for you guys. Okay. Let's take a look. Boom. Here is the footage right here. One last time. This person's walking just fine. So again, if there was somebody strapped to his back, I truly think, look at that. I truly think that he'd be walking a little bit differently. You know what I mean? Just a tad bit differently, just to be completely honest. Okay. And Louisa, thank you so much for the love. You're the best, Pascal. Thanks for covering. Thanks for everything you do. Never change. I will do my best not to change. I'm just kidding. I'm me, right? Hold on 1 second. Sherry, thank you so much. I discovered your show at the start of the case. I feel like you state facts and a platform. I feel like you state facts and a platform for everyone to speak on what you're saying. Absolutely love your show. That's awesome. Thank you so much for all the positivity. That is amazing. Thank you guys. So much positivity this evening. I really do appreciate it. Sometimes I need it. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the love and the positivity. Real talk. Okay. But again, guys, yeah, there hasn't really been a whole lot going on today, which kind of sucks. I wish that there'd be more developments going on in this case. But, when we get more information here, which hopefully will be soon, hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Okay. It's Friday. So again, I'm hoping that tomorrow we have some major developments, because it feels like every weekend, seems like every Friday, we walk into a SWAT raid. Haven't you noticed that the last 2 weekends, there's been some sort of raid? So maybe there will be another one tomorrow. I don't know. We might be strapped in for a long show tomorrow. Okay. So you never know. So we'll see. Yeah. Freaky Friday indeed. Bloop Bleep, thank you so much for the love. Song about media versus streamers, or FBI versus Paw Patrol. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Grace, thank you so much for saying what you said there. Sorry, I'm reading everybody's comments as best as I can and as quickly as I can. You're the only YouTuber I seek out several times daily. You're so real and honest and aren't just looking for clicks. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Man, that's so sweet. Damn. I'm about to have a cavity. You guys are so sweet. Damn. Thank you. Flicking Beans. Thank you so much for the love. This is a kidnapping gone wrong. She passed before the transfer and they abandoned the mission. I don't hope you're right. I hope you're wrong. But that is a strong theory. I don't think that theory is wrong. Okay. But again, everything else is on the table. I don't think this was a burglary gone wrong. I truly don't. I truly don't. But we'll see what happens here, guys. Again, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow, hopefully, there'll be some more breaking news. Oh, by the way, one last thing. Prince Andrew, Randy Andy has been let go. Yeah, he was released from custody. Yeah. Ain't that about to shut your mouth? Anyway, guys, that is the show. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Tomorrow is another day. We will find out more information tomorrow, okay? So do me a favor, please. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. I'm on all of them. So make sure you hit that follow button. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so that you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random, okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. So go check that out. Okay? Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there. And if anything's popping overnight, I might hop on to talk about that if something's popping off. But until then, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.